The day video game fans have been waiting for has finally arrived. So The Last of Us has finally dropped on HBO Max, and I'm going into this show as somebody that has never played a video game or know anything about the game. So this is going to be me coming in as somebody that is new to this world, and for somebody that has never seen an image of this video game, I thought this show was handled with grace and class. The show is starring Bella Ramsey as Ellie and Pedro Pascal as Joel, and I know that this game is beloved by a lot of people. When Logan came out, a lot of people dubbed that movie as the Last of Us movie. So even though I was really excited for this show because this is something new to me, these are new characters to me, this is a whole new world, I really wanted to see what they were going to be doing with this show and handling this source material. I think if you've never played the game, you're going to go into this show not really getting a lot of the things that will make fans of the game happy. For everybody that have played the game and were really excited to see how this was going to turn out, you're going to be getting the things that made you happy about that game. The casting of Pedro Pascal as Joel was absolutely perfect. One thing that I absolutely loved about the show is that right off the bat, they really get you into this show, into this world by introducing you to Joel and the relationship that he has with his daughter. I think one thing that this show did very well is introduce you into this world. Not just for people that are a big fan of this game, but also for people that have never played the game, because they do a really good job of getting you invested in the relationship between Joel and his daughter. I thought that was handled perfectly, and his daughter is being played by Nico Parker, and the way that they interact with one each other, I thought that was really well handled, that when it comes to her death scene, it gets that little more oomph that you are expecting from this show, because the way that they handled that death scene absolutely gutted you, and it gutted the character, and that is something that Pedro Pascal did fantastic. I thought his casting for Joel is absolutely perfect. I think they captured the mannerisms of Joel in this episode, and Pedro Pascal absolutely nailed it out of the park. For somebody that really isn't invested in 85-minute episodes, I really like when shows are just about 40 minutes to an hour. This episode flew by really quick. I didn't notice the length of time. This is coming to us from the creators of Chernobyl, and I've heard nothing but absolutely great things about that show. So knowing that they were behind these two shows, Chernobyl and The Last of Us, I really had high hopes for the show, and it did not disappoint me at all one bit, because even when you get the introduction of Ellie, played by Bella Ramsey, that did a fantastic job in this episode. She is a very snarky, hard-headed little girl that really has her mindset on just one goal, and that is trying to get out. Once they get outside of these walls, then that's when I am going to be getting very invested, because right before we get to the jump of the 20 years later, the way that the whole chaos happened with the virus, I really like the opening of this episode, getting us to know a little bit more about how the virus can start and what actually could happen. That is something that I thought was very well handled. And just when they are running away trying to get somewhere safe from the infected zombies, I'm not sure if this is what they're called in the video games, but I know that they're called the Clippers. I'm not sure if that is the correct term. I do apologize if that's not the correct term, but I'm not sure if that is what they're in fact called in the video games. I'm just going to be calling them infected zombies until I hear otherwise. The way that he handled the first 30 minutes and having that intensity with Joel and his daughter and Tommy, I thought that was really well handled, and that was something that kept me on the edge of my seat, because I wanted to see how far they were going to make it out. They did not care about anybody on the road. They are just trying to find a safe place for them. And just the way that it was shot, the way they used the camera movements and the editing, I thought it put you right in the backseat of this pickup truck and into the middle of the action, that it was really well handled, that once we get to that devastating turn and that 20-year jump, that you are more invested and you know exactly what happens when they jump 20 years later in the future. Everything, they're all boarded up. Anybody that breaks any rules, then they get hanged, or if they're infected, they immediately get killed, just so they're able to have a safe and contained environment. The writing for this show is absolutely fantastic. And one thing that I really loved about the runtime is the fact that you were able to give us all these things and just be able to let us get into the environment to get us to know what everything is and how everything is going to be working. And that is where the runtime is actually beneficial to its own detriment, because I really enjoyed the setup, the world building. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen outside of these walls. But so far for this episode, I thought it hit all the beats that it needed to hit. It hit all the emotional beats that it needed to hit. And it was just a very captivating first episode that I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the next 8 episodes, because they are doing a really good job of getting you invested in this world. They are getting you invested in these characters, so that way when they're put in life and death situations, there are higher stakes to these characters. And even though you know who are going to make it out alive, I'm not sure if it's going to be following the same story beats as in the video game, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'll leave those who are a fan of the video games to be the judge of that. But my first impression of this show has been fantastic. I'm really excited to see how this show is going to plan out. But if they go on for 5 seasons, I'm going to be front row every single time that this show is on, because so far I am invested in these characters. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are absolutely knocking out of the park. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the next couple episodes. But those are my thoughts and my first impressions on this first episode of The Last of Us. Are you guys a fan of the video game, and how well is it translated onto the screen? Go ahead and drop those thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this video, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on more Last of Us recaps and more videos like this. Click that bell notification so you get notified every single time that a video pops up. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.